republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next, we have statement of purpose. The meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There's a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Verification of meeting notice,
Posted as requested.
agenda revisions and approval.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as it's written.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have public comment. This is the time visitors and guests may address the board on any agenda item. The board president, at her discretion, may limit comments to no longer than 5 minutes. Okay, we have a gentleman who'd like to talk to us about maintenance. Okay,
Yeah, Vic McCroft, I live in the Ojo, been here 42 years, so, anyways, I'm on the, building committee for the 2 buildings after the failed referendum. It looks like we're not gonna have anything to do with a joint venture for years to come, according to the people we're talking to. Also, but the big thing is the maintenance. We've got $2 million in our maintenance budget that's not being used, that was allocated for maintenance. So, start maintenance. We got, the parking lot needs to be recovered. Both roofs on both buildings need to be taken care of, get quotes for that. We've got the money, and you're not gonna look at any kind of joint venture for schools for years down the way. So let's get these buildings back to where they're supposed to be, sort of used properly, and we don't have to worry about anything. Our new custodian, or whatever he wants to be called, has given us numerous suggestions as to things that need to be done. After talking with him and the other people on the building committee, we seem to think he has a lot of stuff that we can gain from him. So let's listen to him and start taking vacations. Let's get going with it. That's it.
thank you for your feedback. Next, we're gonna go public vote to fill the board vacancy. So we have a ballot that I will hand out. It is a public vote, so each of us will vote, and then one at a time we will talk aloud about our vote and why we voted the way we did. And then I'm asking you guys to sign your name, check whoever you're voting for, to the right of their name. And when they're complete, let me know. Okay. So we did have 6 people that applied for the board vacancy. The 6 people were Suzanne Durkee, Marcus Hepner, Andrew John, Stacy Kelsey, Tom Schaefer, and Colton Schmidt. I just read them off in alphabetical order. All great applicants. It was nice to see so much interest. We will have 3 openings come April. So whomever is not chosen tonight, I want them to know that there's an opportunity come April. The person that I chose to vote for was Colton Schmidt. There was less than 1% difference in the vote. And I think he was a great asset to the board previously, and I know he would be in the future. Clayton?
I also chose Colton for pretty obvious reasons. I don't think there's a better survey taken recently of public opinion than what the election was. So to disregard that broad of a survey at this point in time would just be foolish. So I think it was a pretty obvious choice in my opinion.
Okay.
I voted also for Colton, with his experience on the board, and his knowledge of the district, and his passion for the district, and the fact that he only missed out by 6 votes, to me is it's a no-brainer for the back and forth, so I voted for Colton as well.
And Zach?
Yep, I voted for Colton as well. His experience on the board, how the votes played out in April, obvious reasons.
Let the record talk with Carrie after the meeting?
Sure.
And we can do that. Next, we have the consent agenda. Did everybody have a chance to review those items? Do they have any questions on anything? Is there any that you wanted to address publicly, Chris?
The assets are probably going to later on.
Okay.
Personnel report, we have, one resignation, Missy Peckrell, our band and music teacher. So we're looking to fill that position, and we are hiring 2 people. So employment, we have, Miss Lydia Felder, our teacher, is a first-time teacher coming in for both buildings, which is nice. That's been a position we've been trying to fill for a year. And, we have Miss Angela Hose, who has accepted our principal position, who started with us tomorrow. July 1st.
Angie, do you mind just standing up?
And yep, Angie's here today. Want to introduce
Join
yourself?
us, so she is gonna be the new principal at the intermediate.
Angie, I go by Angie Hollis. I come from Richfield Middle School. I was a teacher there for 26 years. Did some disciplinary, admin things, and yeah, I've been with that team for 26 years, and I really look forward to joining this team, because researching it, you guys are amazing. I mean, doing amazing things, and I'm really excited to get on board tomorrow, or July 1st, one of the two. Yeah, so I'm excited to dive in, and I look forward to maybe meeting you after the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else on the consent agenda, Chris?
No.
Any other questions or anything else? Zach? I make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Old business, we have none, so we'll move on to new business. Discuss and take possible action on Fund 46 contribution amount and committed fund balance amount.
Yeah, so that was listed up above in the assets report. So we have, typically the board, to my understanding, has put $150,000 in Fund 46. That would be my recommendation to continue with that dollar amount. If we go over that dollar amount, it does hurt us tax-wise. The state doesn't typically like that. We have more than that available. And the reason we have that extra is because we had a lot of vacant positions that were not filled. Mr. Herman being one, right? And administrative pay plus benefits that were not utilized. We had more than one aide that was missing, the student was not replaced. We had not actually had a school psychologist, which we replaced. We lost all the math interventionists. I'm missing anything there. There were a couple others in there. So the extra dollars come from those staff members that were not replaced throughout the year, which is, you know, we're in that kind of market where we don't have a lot of applicants for some positions, and that's just basically why we do the positions like that. So my recommendation would be to take that leftover money from that, and we would put it into something called the committed fund balance, and that would be deferred towards maintenance, repairs, furniture, immediate needs that were postponed because of the referendum, as someone gave comments about that tonight as well. So there are a lot of issues with the buildings, that we're finding out too through insurance, new stipulations that we have to pass, and through inspection prior to July 1, going to be our insurance this year. So we would be funds set aside for that. So I think that's the best place to put it now. It doesn't hurt us tax-wise, we've got a penalty for it. We're averaging that it's for this dollar amount. And, yeah, I think that's the best use of it at this time.
How much was that for? How much money would it be?
How much total?
Yeah.
About 400,000.
I make a motion to move $150,000 into Fund 46 and the remaining balance into the committed fund.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, we have discuss and take possible action on Chromebook purchase. how long are the Chromebooks good once you do a purchase like that? I saw it's like 35 Chromebooks we have to replace.
Yep, so it used to be a 5-year shelf life. So we give them fifth grade and we have them from fifth grade to eighth grade. Now told it's closer to 10 years. So,
If I'm told this correct, by technology, yeah, it could be 8 years, which is much better than what it used to be.
so this would be for the fifth grade class, and they have these Chromebooks from fifth grade to eighth grade.
Like every year we'll have some type of expense like this,
Yep.
some
Yeah, so.
reach their life.
Right. Yeah, that's how it would be. Typically one grade level that's what we keep Chromebooks.
What is the cost?
The total cost for the Chromebooks that Ryan sent us was $8,942.50. And this is for 35 Chromebooks. So that covers both fifth grade, incoming fifth grade classes plus spares. I don't know if you know or not, but individual students are not exactly critical with their devices. So you have a couple of factors there.
Maybe you can make a motion?
I'll make a motion to purchase the Chromebooks as brought.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, discuss and take possible action on maintenance requests.
Yep, no, that's easy to cut. So, current policy that we have for the school board is that the board has to approve all repairs or maintenance requests totaling more than $500, which in this day and age is kind of silly. We can't really get a repair done for $500 or less in pretty much anything. So, it doesn't reflect current costs for parts, repairs, labor, any of those things. So, I think to better match inflation, that this rate should be increased to a dollar amount of $2,500. And that way, future maintenance requests, so if they hit over $2,500, then I would bring it to the board for your approval. But anything that's $2,500 and under, we would be able to do without that. Which, like, as I said, most things are costing over $500.
Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the maintenance, budget limit to $2,500 without approval.
second it.
All in favor?
I,
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, discuss and take possible action on July board meeting.
Yeah, so I know we initially talked about possibly not having the meeting in July, but there is a policy update that needs to be voted on by the school board, and it's mandated by states, but it's actually a federal law, we have to do so prior to August 1st, and it's regarding Title IX. And, so we would need to meet sometime between now and August 1st to approve the new language of that policy to go on to our board docs. So we would have an update to the current policy, a slight update saying that it's going to change over, and then how it works is the old policy would be in place until August 1st, and the new policy would take over on August 2nd. And the reason why we have to meet in August is because we don't want the claim to happen sometime between August and September, talking to a staff member or a student or whatever, and we wouldn't be covered if we meet and update the policy. We have a decision to meet at a regularly scheduled July time or meet at a different time to take care of that deadline.
so I have to change the time. Keep it
Regular
in
board
order,
meeting,
regular board
Wednesday.
meeting. Okay, quick meeting. We need to make a motion for that, or just keep it as is?
We already have that scheduled.
We're good.
Next, we have discussed and take possible action on the district administrator contract. So I provided each of you with a copy of it. This is something we've talked about in the past. Chris's contract is up on June 30th, so this will be a contract starting July 1st. Anybody have any questions or want to make a motion?
Make a motion to accept Chris's contract.
Second it.
All in
every year we are asked to report the amount of seclusions and restraints annually as a district. And this year, so seclusion meaning that the students had to be held in a classroom for safety reasons and not allowed to leave. Restraint meaning that we had to use a safety principle of both students and themselves. So those are the two definitions of those, and we do have to report this annually. In 23-24, we had 1 incident of seclusion and 3 incidents of restraint for a total of 11 minutes. And this involved 3 students in total. So 1 student only. This is a decrease from last year. I think that when you're looking at seclusion and restraint, the reason why it's done is again, it's done for safety of the student and for safety for all the students. And we're always looking to try to get that number to 0, but we also need to be realistic with when there's a dangerous situation, we want to protect kids. So, while the goal is always 0, I just want to make it clear that there are one of the instances where we have to take precautions to keep kids safe and staff as well.
Any announcements or events?
Nothing at this time. We may have to look at changing our open house during August, because we have an early start time. It looks like the open house will get scheduled actually falls on the board meeting day, so we'll have to send out a message right away for that as soon as they change up the open house time at elementary.
Or if you got the open house advertised, you want to change the board meeting?
Or we might have to change the board meeting rate.
You're gonna change the board meeting.
I would say change the board meeting.
Yeah.
Exactly. Open
Can you
house,
tell
I'd
me to
rather
change the
make
board
public
meeting?
sense.
You have to change the board meeting.
Yeah, I'm all for that.
The picture people
Sounds
will be
good.
here.
Yeah. So then we can look at that. Do you guys know now what is the second Wednesday work for you? In August?
Works for me.
Okay. We'll just change it to the second
Perfect.
Wednesday. So that we open house can stay where it is.
And then PD, so believe it or not, PD starts already August 19th, so 19th through the 21st is coming up for us, like very fast. And then we have that shared PD with Hartford 21 for some behavioral training with Dr. Ross Green, who's a really well-renowned speaker, and that's going to be August 29th.
Awesome.
Other than that, just trying to get all of their bills paid right here.
So we have gone to listing closed or executive session on the agenda. It's always gonna be there in case we need to do it, but just for transparency, we're gonna do whatever we can to avoid going into closed session. And we do not have a closed session tonight. So I make a motion to adjourn. Or, talk about committee reports.
Committee reports. The facilities committee met on 6/8/24, Saturday morning, 2 weeks ago. The current committee consists of Mark Hogan, Rick LaCrosse, Heather Oldhoff, Christina Chapman, Chad Johnson, Chad Smitherman, Scott Winsenreed, and myself. I encourage anyone else who wants to reach out. We're more than willing to accept people. We met on the 8th to walk through the schools and just kind of look at everything now with the kids out. It was a good time to see the buildings for what they were. We identified a few issues. One of them was that we had received some concern from the DNR on the well here at the Neosho site. Since then, we have had the well inspected by a very reputable local contractor. And the pump was replaced by him in 2012. The casing and everything else is an industrial casing, which is a smaller casing instead of a larger one sleeved with concrete. He has no reason to believe that any time in the near future that well will fail. It is in his professional opinion, it is in extremely good shape, and he doesn't see a reason to do anything with it. We went around and we looked at the roofs. They obviously need attention. The facilities committee discussed getting some possible, we're not opening this up to bids, we just wanna get a ballpark figure of what a few different, commercial roofing companies would cost. Just so we know what kind of planning we can do going forward with the funds we have. The entire committee was also, we agreed that going forward, we want to fix things right, not Band-Aid and patch. And that some of the things that when we do decide to move on something, where we have to open it up to public bid and go through the process of that. But, well, like we talked earlier about raising the limit on, maintenance items to 2,500. We're trying to clear up a few of those logistical speed bumps, where, I mean, honestly, if we had to get every $500 project approved by the board, nothing would ever happen, right? So, we're trying to do that. We're also trying to get a few local contractors on, I guess the best way to put it is retainer. They would have to submit, for instance, if we needed an electrician, they'd have to submit a public price, but then we can call them for small projects and they do them. That way, we're freeing up some of our maintenance people, i.e. Chad, to do what is necessary, in a timely fashion, so we don't run into some of these logistical nightmares that we had previous to this, so things can actually get fixed. So we're in the process of getting all that put together, right now. One of the things too that we found out was the flooding that was occurring in the classroom over here was mostly due in part to the gutters all being clogged. We cleaned the roof off, and then with the 20 inches of rain that we received the last week of May and the first week of June, it was almost 20 inches total, at least at my house and my rain gauge. There was no water in that classroom from that at all, after the eavesdrops got cleaned. So, we're kind of starting, I don't want to say starting over, but we're trying to look at everything again and determine where the money is best spent, and for the improvements to be done with a value-based approach. You know, some of this stuff might not even be the cheapest to do, but what's the best value for the dollar? You know, just because we have a bunch of money in our maintenance budget doesn't mean we should just blow it all. That was kind of the consent of, and the overall discussion that was had among the committee. And I encourage anyone else who, even if you don't want to be on the committee, if you've got some input into some of the insights of these things, talk to me. I mean, I'm more than willing to have a discussion. So, with that being said, one other thing that was brought up that we're gonna kind of make a priority is the parking lot and pavements at both facilities haven't been seal coated in a few years. They're still in decent shape, but if we don't do that very soon, they're gonna start breaking up the next winter frost cycle, and then it becomes a very large expense quickly. And also with that, the meetings of the facilities committee are at 5 p.m. before school board meetings. That way the committee can discuss things and we can bring it to the attention of the board right away in that meeting. Again, trying to get the ball rolling, and so things don't take over 5-6 months to happen. That being said, I guess that's what I had to say.
So my committee for the policy and communication is Andrew Nelson, Leah Foots, Aaron Dahlman, Jamie Schellinger, Susan Durkee, Judy Bullock, and then of course Chris, and then Michelle's gonna come in, and then Mike Fulton, teaching back on the board. We're gonna start with communication. There was a big gap in communication with the previous administration. We wanna make sure there's communication, there's close communication, there's close that circle. You know, someone has a question, make sure it gets back to them with an answer of some sort. So that'll be the first thing we tackle, along with some policies that are gonna be coming up right away. Chris and I will sit down, find some stuff, but again, if anybody wants to get on board with that. We got a lot of stuff to go through every, the Tuesday before every school board meeting,
So the day before,
day before, we're gonna try,
and what time?
6 o'clock, right here, or in elementary.
Suzanne, do you have anything?
Just that I'm gonna reach out, I was waiting, cause I hadn't found out what days these guys are doing their meetings. I'm thinking Wednesday before the board meeting, so the second Wednesday of every month.
So, a week before the board meeting?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking, but we'll probably just meet every other month right now, starting out unless something pressing comes in. And, yeah, I'll reach out to everybody who showed interest and, make sure that that works. And then, at least initially, we'll start on that day. And then, if something as a committee we decide that another day or time works better, I'm thinking right now 6 o'clock on Wednesday prior, so I think that could be July 10th. So I will send the invite out to everyone and, along with you and Chris.